Imagine a conscious contact with God so strong that no matter what you are doing or not doing, that no matter what your kids are up to or not up to, and that whether you've got the person of your dreams or they're just not cooperating, that you are happy, content, and at peace. A space where everyone else's thoughts, attitudes, and actions are beautiful and exactly as they are supposed to be. Well, this is the space where I like to play. My name is Misha Z, and this is today's Bitch Slap. Join me as I shed light on the thoughts, actions, and attitudes that are causing you pain, and we train our minds to go to the capital S inner self, the joy that is waiting for us, the God within.
I have to record today. I was also going to start with, you can't expect me not to record today, or how could I not record today? Today was the day that my second son, my youngest son, I have two sons, graduated high school. And I'm going to wrap another story or two within this. I interviewed this person, Arlina. I can't remember Arlina's last name right now. Allen. Yes, Arlina Allen. And her episode isn't up yet, but perhaps it will be by the time her interview may be up by the time this episode gets published. And actually, Arlina, I was also recently on her podcast. So I got invited to be on a podcast. It was the first one, and I did her podcast. It's called the One Day at a Time podcast. Check it out. I'm an interview on there. I'm sure you could Google One Day at a Time podcast, and I'm on there. Misha Z. But I interviewed her, and she said this amazing thing to me, and it's had a huge impact. I interviewed her maybe a week or two ago. And you know, the whole you spot it, you got it thing that I'm all into 100% on. You spot it, you got it. Now, I've generally speaking been thinking of in that in terms of negatives, right? You know, that person's, I judge them in this regard. It's usually a reflection of something about myself, how I'm like them. And she said, well, how about this? How about if you spot it, you got it, what you admire in people or what you like about people? How about if you spot it, you've got that? And I was like, holy crap. That is amazing. So I started thinking about who do I admire, right? Like, who do I admire? So that's kind of a cool thought. And no one was necessarily popping into my head. But anyhow, that's been brewing in the back of my mind. And as I'm seeing people that I like and I think, oh, that's awesome. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got that. How cool is that? Thank you, Arlina. So amazing. And so just a massive day for me today as I record this. I'm going to tell you the date, June 11th. Waylon graduated from high school today. My 20-year-old Cooper graduated 2 years ago, I think on this same approximate day. But I'm a little empathy, I think. I think that's what the new agey term is, you know, empath. I'm very sensitive, maybe extremely selfish. I don't know, all of that, but a very big marker of time. And it's funny, I just published an episode that I recorded 6 weeks ago, and I literally published this episode. It's called Lisa Randall Gets an Update. I was planning on doing this episode now, recording what I'm talking about. And then I went ahead and was like, well, I got to publish an episode. So I listened to it. And I was talking about exactly 6 weeks ago how Waylon was going to graduate, how it's emotionally affecting me in a good way. and, melancholy, all this stuff, divorce, all these things. But also, you know, this is way too much information. And Dawn, I say this with complete love. My child support officially ended. Like, how crazy is that? And that's a big marker. And I thought when I'd started making child support payments that it was going to be a massive thing when it ended. Like it was going to be, it's like one of those be all end all type of moments. And I was wrong. It's not that big a deal, which is pretty crazy to me. I'd talk more about it, but I don't know if it serves. That's all you need to know in that regard. I will tell you that Waylon graduating, wow. Cooper graduated, wow. Like my dadness is effectively like that heavy dad piece is complete. I mean, they get to still be a dad. They get to go to college or not, or I get to support them, love them. If they have grandkids, get married. If they're fortunate, if we're all fortunate enough to live long and fruitful lives, more will be revealed. But Waylon, today at graduation, Waylon's got this amazing personality that I admire in him. And Waylon was just having fun at graduation. And Waylon, when it came time for him to get, his little diploma and, as they're announcing people, he just put his arms up, erupted, yelled at the crowd in a good way, right? And just, oh my God, it was so beautiful. And somebody that I know happened to be right up front and snapped a picture of it. So I got this amazing picture of Waylon just hooting like mad, his personality just shining. And I was like, excuse my language, but I fucking love him. I love Cooper too. In this moment, I was just like, Waylon's personality is so rad. I admire it so. And I just was thinking about Arlina. And I was like, oh my God, you know what? I've got a personality. And I need to love that about myself. And it was just it's this cathartic moment as I record this and tell this to you. So, Arlina, thank you. And just more loving myself for who I am, loving people for who they are. And, young Cooper Lee, man, Cooper Lee showed up for his brother in a big way. So amazing. Coop showed up for the pre-graduation brunch breakfast at my house here. Just showed up, hung out. He made it through the 2-hour graduation, and it was warm, man. We were in the sun in Sanitas. It was hot today. And he just showed, and at the, before he was encouraging Waylon to put sunscreen on because it was going to be hot. And Cooper was remembering his experience, how he got sunburned at graduation. And Coops showed up, man. I just can't tell you how much I love him too. What a beautiful family day. Grandmother was here, their grandmother. Dawn, of course, and I hanging out, reminiscing, shedding tears of joy. And just thinking of the people who have gone before and the people who are coming behind. And like, I don't know, man. Life is trippy. If you've had kids that graduated and you've made it past that, God bless you. And if you've got some kids and you're heading through grade school into high school, all that stuff, God bless you. Perhaps you're finding love and getting married and ready to have kids. Or perhaps you're at the tail end of it all. But when graduation was done and, you know, Cooper told Waylon he was proud of him, it's quite a moment. I don't know how to express it. They gave each other a hug. It was beautiful. Sorry, Cooper and Waylon, if you hear this, but that was a beautiful moment. And then Waylon, man, Waylon, and that Amy Tord. Amy, if you hear this, God bless you for snapping that picture. Oh my God. So amazing. And then me just being able to love my boys for who they are and what I admire in them and go, you know what? That's in me too. Fuck yeah. Oh my God. All these interviews. I quickly, I'll try to, because this could go on. I could go on and on. But man, I was meditating today. Heck with it. I'll go on and on. I haven't done an on and on and on episode for a while, but I was meditating today. I was pretty squirrely this morning, or just I was so tired yesterday and the day before, just interviewing people. I've interviewed, I think, 8 people as I record this, and 3 in the last couple of days, not including today. And it just emotionally wears me out in these amazing interviews. And where was I going to go with this? As I've recapped a couple or watched a couple, both Anthony Trucks, I was rewatched some of his, and then Robert Drysdale, who was off the hook. Robert Drysdale. Oh my God. Wait till you see that interview on the summit. It is so good. But both Robert Drysdale and Anthony Trucks talked about, and maybe other speakers have as well, but they talked about not needing to, about loving themselves and not needing to please everybody and not needing to be liked by everybody. And, these things that we hear, but the way they said it was so poignant. And they both said it as poignant moments of learning as they've gotten older. And I really was hearing it. And the reason I tell you this is because after the divorce, after some failed relationships, after my parents dying, after, financial distress, all this stuff, I really had taken 2 steps back and become not a fan of some of myself, is what I'll say. And it's been a process of loving who I am. And, they both were talking about, hey, we are who we are, take us or leave us. But the way they were talking about it is in a non-arrogant way. And I think that that's where I much more am today, where perhaps 15 years ago, when I was sort of peaking career-wise, family-wise, before some hardships had come in to really kick my butt, I was like, I am who I am. But there was arrogance wrapped around in it. Where today it's, yeah, I am who I am. And love me or leave me in a as little arrogance wrapped up in that as possible, which also means I get to love you for who you are, truly, to newer and deeper levels. Anyway, I could go on. Oh yes, I was talking about being. I'll try to end with this. I was very beat down the past couple of days. Just, so much emotional effort and energy's gone into, building out the summit, the invites, the interviews, all this stuff. And so, I was crushed. I was done yesterday, and I woke up feeling it. And it was one of those days where I was like, yeah, I'm not going to work on the summit at all today. Very little, if any. And then, I was kind of in a headspace, and I was like, how can I be of service to Waylon today? How can I make this about Waylon? And my attitude changed in that instant. It was amazing. Yeah. And then just to have such a good day. When everybody'd gone home and it was, I don't know, 5:30, I went for an hour and a half walk and just tears of joy and just Waylon's enthusiasm and zest and outburst. God, I was laughing out loud as I was walking. I'm sure people thought I was insane. And then the Robert Drysdale interview was so good, man. I was just laughing and crying on my walk. It's a shift in time or whatever experience as a big marker of fatherhood has been checked. God bless to everybody. Love you all.
Thank you for spending time with me today. As someone who is committed to growth and service to this world, I so appreciate your willingness to come with me, go within, and serve our world through change. If you found value in this podcast and you know someone who can use this message, share this episode with them. Share it so our mission can be achieved one episode at a time. And of course, subscribe so you can hear more. And lastly, for more resources on what has helped me on my journey and can help you on yours, go to belove.media/resources. That's BELOVE.media/resources. Thank you again for listening.